Hey guys, we are back. I am so excited. We had so many people purchase the book yesterday, the implementation code. Thank you guys so much for going and grabbing your copy. Today I'm going to be actually diving into one of the chapters. So, in the first chapter, actually, we talk about the things that are holding you back. And this is a big one because a lot of times when my clients come to me, they are not missing a certain strategy, right? They don't need to learn more. There's a lot of things that if we could just kind of like remove those limiting beliefs, they're going to go so much further. So there are three things in particular today that I want to cover that I see as one of the most common, or I would say three of the most common reasons you are being held back in your business. Okay. So, welcome. If you're brand new, Stacy Tushel here. We just launched our book yesterday, The Implementation Code. You can go grab your free copy. It's at implementationcode.co/free book. You just have to pay the shipping and handling, and we'll send it out to you right away. Okay, so let's talk about the three things. So, number one, this is a big one, fear of what other people will think. Okay. I have definitely been guilty of this. How about you? I have, like, naturally, we care. We don't want people to think poorly of us, think negatively of us, right? So, when you go to put something out, when you go to say all of a sudden, I'm selling this or I'm doing that, what are people going to think, right? So I will tell you, this is actually my second business book that I've written. My first was about 5 years ago. And because I've never written a book before, right? Before that happened, the first book, um, I remember, this is so embarrassing, but I remember I didn't tell anybody besides my husband. Nobody knew that I was actually writing this book for an entire year. And then I finally go to put it out. And then it's like awkward. Like, how do I tell people that for an entire year of my life, I've been writing this book and they've known nothing about it, right? So I did not even tell my family that I had a book until the book was here in physical form. And the worst part is they didn't hear it from me. So I remember somebody was Googling my name, trying to find my studio's phone number. Which, why would you Google my name? You'd Google the studio's name. So she Googles my name. She sees stacytushel.com and she's like, what is this? And then goes there and she says, oh, I didn't know your daughter wrote a book. My mom's like, I didn't either. So that's a little awkward for my mom to bring it up to me and not the other way around. So definitely feels different round two because I'm not afraid of what people will think. The book is I've already had a book out, right? So it's usually the first time you go to do something, there is that fear of what will people think about this? Have you ever felt that? Has that ever stopped you from maybe moving forward, right? So be thinking about that as you're wondering, like, why am I procrastinating on this? Why haven't I done it yet? And maybe it's because you have to like start your fan page, right? And go from just a personal account to a business account, right? Maybe you're nervous that people are going to be like, is she like, who does she think she is, right? Like, who does she think she is to be able to do XYZ? So a lot of times that fear of what other people will think paralyze us. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, fear of failure, right? So now it's not, and sometimes fear of failure is tied into what other people will think of you. Because if you fail, will that be a public failure, right? And what would they say or think about you? So even though you might be thinking that's not really about them, it's about me. I don't want to fail or I don't want to do this. A lot of times it still ties in a little bit to that. Number one, okay? So fear of failure. First of all, what I want you to know and what I want you to understand is when you have not done something before, right? When you haven't tried to run your business in a pandemic before, you've never done that, you can't be so hard on yourself. You can't expect for you to make every decision, every move, and make it perfectly, right? That is not going to happen. So I want you to be okay with lessons learned, right? And not even phrasing it as like, I've just failed, like that was a failure, but actually just saying like, well, I tried it. Maybe I didn't sell any. People, like, that was the feedback that I got, right? Lack of feedback is always feedback. They didn't want it. It's not a fail. It's not a waste of my time. I've learned from that and I can move forward, right? So be thinking about that as well. How can I take these lessons learned or things that maybe I'm like a process of elimination? When you start to experiment with certain things and it's like that didn't go over or right? No one wanted it. Okay, great. Use that information to continue to ask yourself, like, well, they don't want that, but what do they want? Like, what is something else I can try? And the more you do, the more you take action, the more you're going to figure that out. So whenever I'm talking to somebody who's like, well, I have a lot to learn. Like, I don't really know what my audience, my target market is wanting, needing, asking of me right now. So I'm just guessing. So this is going to take me a lot of time. But I always tell them, the faster you do, the more you implement, the faster you'll learn that information, right? So I just wrapped up a 2-day event with my Powerhouse Mastermind here in Milwaukee. And what we were discovering was some people were in a better position to go sell a new product or to pitch their email list about something. And it was the people that had been doing all along, right? The people that had been putting things out there, learning from their mistakes, and moving forward, right? Now, the people that have a lot to learn or that aren't able to go pitch and know what their audience is going to want are people that just need to continue to take more action and implement, right? So putting things out there, the faster you can put it out there, the more information you are going to gain. All right. So that's what I want you to understand, that doing is so much better than getting ready. Oh, when people tell me I'm getting ready to launch this. The best thing you can do to get ready is just take action. You will learn so much from doing than you will from thinking about it and researching and Googling, and please, please, please just take action. Okay. Number 3, this is probably the biggest one. That perfectionism comes out and it's not good enough. I'm not done with it. I'm not ready yet to put it out there, right? Now, in your mind, you have told yourself that there is still more work to do on this, whatever this is, right? This might be your Facebook ad. This might be that email that has to go out. I was at a conference and I was with a few other ladies, and I remember being in the hotel room. I was writing an email out. This was years ago. So I was writing an email out. It just shows you how far we've come. I was writing an email to go out like today, but I didn't say that. I just said, "Oh, can somebody quickly proof this email?" This was before I had a team of 10 in foot traffic. I was like, "Can somebody here just quickly proof this email for me?" And there's this woman like, yeah, no problem. So she comes over, she reads through it, makes a couple edits, and is like, "Yep, good to go." So I hit send. She doesn't know that, but I hit send, and she's on my email list. And all of a sudden she's like, "Whoa, did you just send that email?" Like, that email I just proofed, did you already send it out to everybody? I'm like, "Well, yeah, you proofed it. Like, what else is there to do?" And she's like, "I take weeks, but I'm like thinking about it and crafting it and putting this out there before I actually move forward and send it," right? You can, but what are you doing? You're slowing down the feedback we just talked about. Spending 2 weeks before you put out that email, spending a few hours or a week to figure out, like, well, what is our this entire month of social media going to look like? Or even worse, what is today going to look like on Instagram? What am I going to post, right? And you just wait and wait and wait. So if you follow Brooke Castillo, she always says, like, put out B- work. Now, for some reason, a B- feels not good enough to me. The perfectionist in me is like, I'm going to go for at least a B+, right? Even a B+ might feel not good enough for you, right? And I want you to know that, yes, you can still have high standards and you can still put out amazing quality work, but it doesn't have to be something you've been sitting on and thinking about and prepping and getting ready and truly wasting time, right? I know when we talked about like that fear of failure, a lot of times people are thinking of, I just wasted 6 months of putting this project together that didn't work. I just wasted, right? And here's the thing, you're not wasting anything working on something, doing something. It's never a waste, never ever a waste, because you can take that skill set and apply it to the next thing, right? When you are wasting time is when you've read that email 4 times just to see if you could add another word, another link, another sentence, another call to action, right? Just hit the send button. Like, you've got to finally move forward. So I want you to figure out, like, what does your B+ work feel like? Maybe you're like, I got to go to an A-. I've been at an A+ with extra credit for a long time. I'm going to go a tiny bit down. That's fine. But time to get rid of it being perfect. I heard this saying a long time ago, like, if you've ever put something out years ago and you go back to look at it and you're not somewhat embarrassed by what you put out, you waited way too long, right? So if I were to show you like a graphic that I would have used 4 years ago, or anything, like maybe a photo shoot or anything like that, I would be slightly embarrassed to show you a podcast from 4 years ago. I'm like, oh, don't listen to number one. Please, please, like stick with like the 400s, 300s, maybe 200s. Please don't go back to the beginning, right? I'm slightly embarrassed. You should be. That's a sign that you did it and without waiting for it to be absolutely perfect. If you feel so good about everything you've ever put out there before, you probably are holding on to that perfectionism a little too tight, right? Which means you are truly wasting time getting that feedback from your audience, from the people watching, right? All of that good stuff. So 3 areas in case you missed it. Fear of what other people will think, fear of failing, and then perfectionism. Those are 3 big reasons why I see people being held back. It's not because they don't know how to do something or they don't have the latest and greatest strategy, right? It is truly, 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 truly because they're just allowing themselves to go, okay, I'm not quite ready. I'm having, like, you're making up these excuses to delay that reaction, right? She says, yes, I'm going to number 1 now. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, it's okay. I want you to realize we've all been there, but at some point you have to like rip the Band-Aid off. Maybe today is the day you rip the Band-Aid off. How about that? Okay. If you have not gone and grabbed my book yet, the implementation code, go do so now. It's free. You just pay the shipping and handling of $8.95. That'll be going away soon. So make sure to grab that. You can go to implementationcode.co/free book and go grab it while it is still free. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm so glad to hear that she said, hits me in a good spot. Yes. And here's the thing, self-awareness is key. Now that you know, okay, I've been letting this number, whatever one, hold me back, time to change, right? Now you know better, so you're going to do better. I love that quote from Maya Angelou. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your day. Have a happy Friday. Have a great weekend, and I will see you back here next week. Hopefully, you'll be reading this over the weekend. I will see you soon. Bye, everyone.